And we are live. Welcome, DGens. You
Hello.
are watching Probably DGens, the show where we talk about Web3, NFTs, and future tech. I am your co-host, Lux, with the beautiful blue-lipped queen of DGens.
It's something.
It's something. She's trying out a new look today.
I'm just trying it out.
What inspired this new look?
I found some blue lipstick and I was like, when do you ever have an opportunity to wear something like that? Well, you make a YouTube channel and that's where. So
Yeah, what are you talking about? You always have an opportunity, like once or twice a week, to wear blue lipstick.
Fair.
Anyway,
Fair.
what are we going to talk about today on our show?
We got a lot going on today. We're going to talk about the Metaverse Fashion Week that's going on right now, do a little AI recap. We're going to walk through the IYK physical card and set that up. We've got a Ticketmaster NFT. We've got some updates from Yuga Labs, the Now Pass, Atari VR, and we absolutely have to talk about TikTok. Is it getting banned? I don't know.
Stay tuned. All right, so if you are joining us live and you are watching on Twitter, you will not be able to chat with us because Twitter doesn't have that feature. Elon, please fix. But you can also watch us live on Twitch and YouTube. This live recording will be up on there after the fact, and we will timestamp everything. If you are joining later, you just want to skip ahead of something, please do so. All right, let's get into it. So tell me about Metaverse Fashion Week.
So it is happening right now. It started on the 28th, so yesterday, and it goes until this Friday, the 31st. There are some cool experiences going on in here. There we go. Sorry. So let's just hop into it. It's all in, well, it's in Decentraland. There are some events in Spatial as well. And I did spend a little bit of time just going through this. So let's just jump into the Fashion Week welcome area. So as you walk around, there are different vendors, and I'm not downloading the app right now. There are different vendors that you can go check out, and they have maps.
I love Aloe Yoga.
Oh, where was it? Did I walk past it?
Yeah, it's on the right over there. I've got an Aloe Yoga tank top on right now.
Nice. So these are some of the, booths that are around, but we can go check out the yoga over here. Where did you see it?
It's fine, right?
Oh.
I don't know if it's open yet.
It should be.
Move to the right. Move more. Yeah, see? Missed it. That big white sign right there.
Oh.
I think it's counting down, right?
Morning mindfulness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go. Where do you want to go?
I don't know. I can't really read what these things say. It's a little blurry.
I've already done. Oh, that's a bummer. I've already done Adidas. Let's go to whoever this Fuego fashion house is. I've seen some booths that have different POAPs, fashion shows. They're really great experiences in here. Yesterday, I got this Adidas hoodie that I have on right now. And then, so this booth, obviously, you can go ahead and you can buy this wearable. So some of the places are selling different wearables, but I think the concept is very cool. Every different sort of activation has their own, or every different brand has their own setup in here. I don't want to. Let's see who this is. Oh, okay. Let's go to the first floor. Oh. No. All right. Anyways, so you can just continue to walk around through the entire experience. And then also there is the whole agenda. So they do have different panels if there's a specific brand that you're looking for or project. And all you have to do is jump in. You can go to like the wearable store and purchase things for your avatar, luxury plaza, some of the larger brands. So Dolce & Gabbana, DKNY is up there. And then this is where they have different fashion shows. So this is the first time I've been to Metaverse Fashion Week, and I'm pretty impressed by it. I think it was a lot more fun kind of running around and exploring than I had expected. And I like a few of the little quests that some of the different booths have set up as well. So if you have a chance, I would definitely check it out. But yeah, Metaverse Fashion Show goes on until Friday.
Question. Do you feel nauseous moving around or like it's hard to move around in Decentraland?
I don't. I actually feel like Decentraland is one of the easier. I also think that Spatial is really easy as well. I'm just not good at maneuvering it. And I did especially poor just now.
No, so I went in for the first time the other night and I had a horrible time trying to maneuver in there. So I don't think that's
in Decentraland.
In Decentraland, yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of what was making me nauseous is that I like couldn't jump the way I wanted to or move the way. Anyway, it's got a little work. Needs to be ironed out. So let's talk about artificial intelligence for the week. So AI is moving at a rapid fire pace. If anybody's ever heard of this futurist, Ray Kurzweil, he talks a lot about singularity, which is supposed to come in like the year 2040 something. But basically, he says that technology is moving at an exponential growth curve. So that means it doubles every year, the advancement of tech. So I first went and heard this futurist, Ray Kurzweil, speak back in 2005 or 6 when his book first came out. And he predicted that when AI hit the scene, the computing power would start to rapid fire. And basically our exponential growth curve would go like this, and we wouldn't be able to handle all the rapid advancements. It was just going to come at us so fast. And back when I saw that talk, I was like, yeah. And he's like, in your lifetime, as a kid, I'm like, sure. Okay, that sounds cool, but that's a little far off. It's sounds really advanced. And this past week really made me a believer. Yeah. So I think he's right. And it has taken years now to see what the potential of AI is really going to be. And it is giving everybody a panic attack with how fast it is moving. So first we're going to talk about what is going on with Adobe Firefly. So this is a new product from Adobe, which is a suite of different design tools used by professionals. They do both video and graphic design, web design, illustration applications. And really out of the blue, they were kind of like, hey, we got this generative AI thing that we've been working on it forever. So I will say it looks really amazing. The one thing that I really like about this tool is that it is designed to be commercially safe, which if you've never worked in the design field means that you don't have to worry about the AI generating something that was trained on somebody else's artwork or which might use some copyrighted material. So whatever you generate inside of this AI, you can use anywhere. It's fully, what am I trying to say? New. Untouched. Yeah, I guess.
I wanted to say open source. I'm like, that's not it.
No, it's not right. I don't lost words, but you guys know what I mean, right? So this looks this just
royalty free.
Royalty free. Correct, royalty free. So there we go. So you can do all sorts of stuff with this. You can type in different prompts and have it generate you imagery. I am really interested in trying this out because I've got some ideas to make some artwork based on dream things I have, but I kind of don't want to spend the time to do it. I just want to make the images. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give this a shot. This though really blew my mind. The ability to draw things and have a vector image illustrated for you.
Oh,
And
wow,
like
that's
a
cool.
series of them, and then you can still move around the vector points. I'm like, oh God, like how many graphic designers are going to lose their jobs from this? I don't know. I mean, it's still going to take skill to figure out how to use Illustrator to move around like vector points and stuff. It does take a knowledge base, but this is so fast and crazy that like, oh my God, if you're not learning how to generate vector artwork this way, you're going to be very slow. There's also AI integrated into video editing. So you can see here they turn a scene from summer to a winter scene with just prompt AI. Crazy. I mean, there's a lot of features in here, and I've got a love-hate relationship with Adobe. I started use like one of the first design programs I ever used, so always holds a special place in my heart. But they just charge so much money now, and their subscription-based model like really kills everyone. And their software can be really clunky with competitors out there like Figma and Affinity Design. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe like there'll be like an indie version of this that pops up that is just as slick, but this looks at least promising to play with. I don't want to know how much it costs, but if you come on their site, you can join the beta, which I have done. I cannot show you yet because I don't have access to it, but it looks awesome. So what other AI things are happening? Okay, so this one, Trump. So everybody thought Trump was going to get arrested, right? And then somebody made these AI generated images of him getting arrested, and people thought it was real. So we have reached this point in history now where we cannot trust any breaking news images coming on the internet because they could have been AI generated. I mean, looking at this, I can kind of tell like these cops don't look quite right. So something's a little bit off, but they're not bad, you know?
But you would also look at an image like this and question it. Like it's,
yeah.
Someone else is going to look at this at a quick glance and be like, 100% that's real. Like, what to look out for.
Oh, I agree. I think it's dangerous. It opens a whole can of worms. And, I've heard horror stories too of really nasty things happening. I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but like, if you did not consent to your body being in an image, what's going to, like, we have to move fast enough to make some laws around this stuff because it can get sketchy real fast. And you can, I don't know, who even knows, get somebody canceled for some image that they weren't even in. Crazy stuff. But then this one's kind of funny. Somebody put the Pope in this puff jacket. I saw this going around.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. And then the last AI thing that I want to talk about that is a really, really big deal.
Wait, can I just say something really quick? So I didn't actually know what the Pope looked like, to be honest. And when I saw this image and like the caption, I thought the joke was, because I missed the AI part, that it was I forget the actor's name, but the guy from Arrested Development, the dad. This is who it looks like.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but this is what
the guy who was actually in jail. Yeah, I know.
So I thought it was just like an AI mashup of that guy and like this Pope outfit.
The Bluth Senior. I can't remember
his
name. If he's Michael Bluth Senior or what his first name is. But anyway, totally. That is what this looks like. Yeah. So pretty funny. Pope should consider a puffer jacket and a giant rapper cross. Kind of cool look.
For sure.
Get in touch with the new generation. Okay, so the other big thing from AI this week, ChatGPT and their plugins. So this is another thing that I cannot show you. I am on the wait list for it. If you want to be on the wait list for ChatGPT plugins, you're going to have to come over to openai.com and sign up for the wait list here. If you're really nerdy, you can go and read their documentation about how this all works. It is fascinating. So there's two things going on here. They have third-party plugins, which you can see some examples of them here. And the power of this is just huge. And this, I mean, looking at this is such a Google killer that I don't know if Google can compete with this. Like, this is just like really a crazy thing. So This gives the ability for ChatGPT now to browse the web in real time. So they can pull data from any of these third-party apps. They have also built their own feature for actually browsing the web. So here's this browsing feature. This is something developed by OpenAI, integrated into ChatGPT. And if we watch this little video here, you'll see how it works. Yeah. So you can just type in whatever you want. It's going to look for the current events or whatever you typed in there on Bing, because they have a partnership with Microsoft. So I don't know how good of a search engine Bing is, but it does crawl it. What it's doing here. Did that enlarge bigger when I did? Okay, it did. Yeah. So you can see that it searches Bing. It actually reads the page for you, and then it summarizes it back to you, and it will do this for like multiple pages, and then it will cite the sources of where it found information and construct you any sort of document you want, which is insane. They do have like on here some safety considerations that they thought of while building this out. Like they are so, because my first question is like, so now that this exists, who is ever going to read and do their own research into where the information is coming from? And then you've got the added problem of some centralized power being like, these websites are considered real information and the rest of them are not. You know what I mean? Like, that's basically what the safety consideration is saying, that when it goes and it looks for information for you in order to process it through ChatGPT and get you the answers, it's retrieving content from the web using the Bing search API. As a result, we inherit substantial work from Microsoft on 1, source reliability and truthfulness of information, and 2, safe mode to prevent the retrieval of problematic content. So they are relying on Microsoft as the voice of censorship, I guess.
Well, I think that this is the big concern with AI as a whole is, like the ethics around, or, the data that is going into the algorithm and who has final say, on all of that. It's not specific to this product in general. It's just AI as a whole.
Right. So there's that.
Because the models are only going to be as good as what you put into them,
Correct. So now you know that this information is going through Microsoft and Bing. And if you trust their ability to judge content, then so be it. So, they also have a code interpreter that they have built, which basically just lets you do calculations at this point, solving mathematical problems, both quantitative and qualitative, doing data analysis and visualization, and converting files between formats. So this is not yet a full replacement for programming, not even close, but it does take care of a lot of busy work that engineers do. So I think that this will be a really useful tool. We'll have to see if it throws a lot of errors. I have seen some logic issues with ChatGPT, so I haven't had a chance to play with this yet, but like some people typing in some simple math problems and it couldn't do order of operations correctly. So
well, neither can I. So
yeah, that's true. So we'll see how that one turns out. And yeah, so back to the third-party plugins. These are going to be so powerful. So like, just for example, maybe using Instacart, maybe you ask ChatGPT to make you a keto week of like meal plan. And then you keep editing it down in ChatGPT till you get something you like. And then you say, hey, can you order all the ingredients for me on Instacart? and I want it from this grocery store. And then those, ChatGPT and Instacart talk to each other, and bam, you're done. It's like having a personal assistant.
Yeah.
Again, we'll see how smooth it works in real time. It sounds pretty awesome though. And you can imagine how many administrative jobs this just killed, because that is going to be way faster than any human could possibly work. Yeah. So I do think it's, I heard somebody say that this is almost like a new Apple, and this is an app store. I don't really see it that way. These plugins don't seem to me like they are.
I do.
Really, like they're going to be made inside of the app.
I think it's for leveraging the community. So people going to ChatGPT, getting exposure to all these other products that they wouldn't necessarily. So from like a plugin standpoint, I can see how they would view it as like an app store, because it's introducing them to an audience that they may not have outside of. And the way that it's working, you're sitting on the ChatGPT like OS, if you will.
Yeah.
And then these are the apps or the dApps that feed into it. So I can see that.
I guess I got like a barrier about this. Just doesn't feel like a native sort of app on the actual ChatGPT platform, but I could be wrong. All right, so
it's cool.
We've got someone joining us. Hello, thank you, Herbivore. We appreciate that.
Herbivore.
Thank you. Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Let's talk about IYK next. So before I share my screen and make our heads really tiny, IYK is a company that have a few different products that are physical, and they use NFC chips. So a few weeks ago, I had ordered a card. So it's just like a card, physical, that I'd gotten in the mail, and I thought that we could attempt to set it up together.
Is this supposed to stand for if you know? Like if you know
what?
card? Is it supposed to be like
yeah. Yes, it is.
Card?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to use my phone, which is unlocked, and then all I have to do is tap. And now I got a link to go ahead and open, and I'm going to kick this over to browser here in a second. So I just need to do these few steps first, and I'm going to share this window. All right. So this is the actual card that I had purchased. They're fairly affordable, like $40 a card. And as it states in here, it includes an NFC powered by IYK chip to securely distribute POAPs. So the point of this is I can take it to events. I load it with my own POAPs, and then you can scan it with your phone, and it'll say that you met me at whatever conference, whatever event. I use this concept at DevCon as well. ENS had, partnered, and there were cards with the chips in them that you could scan. Same thing. So give me 1 second here. Continue. All right, I'm kicking this to my desktop. Hopefully it opens in the right window here. Sorry. I am now inputting my email address because it is going to send me a magic link to log in on. So let me see here. Going to my email. And you can reload these as you need to, which is really cool. So they're reusable. All right. I'm bringing the cool. Okay. Got to connect a wallet here. At least this is a really quick process. Unlocking my ledger.
Fine. Maybe it's a good time to grab some mixed nuts or tendies or something.
I want some tendies. All right.
I always want
there
tendies.
We go. So my wallet has been connected. This is my POAP for my physical card here. And I'm just going to go ahead and claim and sign that transaction. And I'm signing it right now. Done. Great. Okay. Polygon. Love to see it. We both took a drink at the same time. Once this is done, we'll come back and check that in a second, but they have a really great guide on what to do next once you have claimed, like, you know, the card is all connected. So we did all of these steps right now. And then all you do is you go ahead and there's an admin page here that you upload the TXT, like the text file for the POAPs that you had created. So you basically have to go to the POAP site itself, which I guess they don't show here, to set up your POAPs, get the codes that you'll distribute, and then you upload them here through the admin. And then that's how it knows to go ahead and do the thing. So my admin dashboard here. Sorry, I got to sign a message to log in. It's secure, y'all. Great. So now I have access to my card here. It is claimable, which means if I had codes uploaded, we would see what those codes were. So I have nothing in here. I don't have any codes that are uploaded for an event, but this is where I would go and take all that data that I get from POAP when I create that POAP to set this up. But this isn't new. I just thought it was really cool, and we'd never really talked about these. So now I really am enticed to make my own POAP if I go to some really cool event and do a thing. Because again, it's really easy. Just you tap your phone on it and it'll open the link.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah. And they do you do see other products. There's some projects that have these chips in like the t-shirt, you know. And
I was going to say, I've seen. I had an issue in Miami trying to make one of those t-shirts. I got yelled at. It's fine. I didn't read the directions. So anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Ticketmaster.
Yes, let's do.
So Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster, yeah, obviously the biggest ticketing company, I believe, in the world, who has gone through a lot of controversy in the past year over the whole Taylor Swift debacle where her fans, it was like Hunger Games to get tickets to the show, and all the scalpers got them, and this caused a lot of attention to actually come into Web3 and the idea of a better platform emerging to compete with Ticketmaster, which would allow fans to actually be able to buy tickets at an affordable price and not have to buy them from scalpers for $1 gazillion or have a company like Ticketmaster add on a large amount of fees for doing nothing just because they can.
Hanging out.
So Ticketmaster, I did not have any high hopes for moving into Web3 whatsoever. I actually very much interested in quite a few Web3 platforms being built to try and solve the ticketing problem and to use NFTs to token gate events and create fan communities and, help artists actually connect to their fans. But alas, the big bad Ticketmaster has stepped up to the plate. They seem like they are getting nervous about the ticketing things happening in Web3. And honestly, they should be, because I have seen some pretty good prototypes for some competition at Ticketmaster. So the thing that they have done is allow token gating to get tickets, which I think is a fairly simple concept for them, because I don't think they're really changing their platform that much. It's more like, okay, somebody bought some NFT for a band, and now that band has the ability to reserve a set amount of tickets to be gated by those NFTs, and Ticketmaster won't sell those tickets unless a NFT holder connects their wallet to their site and can access them. So they claim that this stops scalpers. I call BS, because scalpers can buy the NFTs and get in.
Mm-hmm.
And also it does not solve the issue with Ticketmaster adding on a F ton of fees to your purchase. You're like, yeah, okay.
I feel like they're just going to jack up the mint price.
Of course. So they've tested this out this week with a band called, what is the name of this band?
Avenged Sevenfold.
Avenged Sevenfold. Now, if you are wondering what Avenged Sevenfold is, yes, that's it. Just yes. Me too. Nobody. Mm-hmm. So I found their Twitter. They have 2.4 million followers. They're a heavy metal band. Interesting choice from Ticketmaster.
It's a very interesting choice. I've definitely heard of the band before. It's certainly not my.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've definitely heard of them before. They're big, but it's just like not my genre, not my interest.
Definitely, yeah, not my genre either. But I was like, okay, cool. So I came and I checked out their website, which I was like, actually, I'm kind of like impressed with how advanced this is. Like, it's pretty degen. It's it feels like the vibe of Web3. Cool. I don't hate it. So I was like, okay, all right, pretty cool. What's interesting though is I came on OpenSea and I was like, okay, floor price, nothing listed, but they have had 596 ETH volume traded. So you'll see there isn't a single one listed on OpenSea and there's activity happening. So I was like, okay, where are these things listed?
Yeah.
So if you come onto their site and go into their gallery.
Oh, do they have their own marketplace?
Yeah, they have their own marketplace, which I was like, okay, interesting. Not bad UX wise. If you're like, really interested in a band and you come to their website and you're a super fan, you'll be able to find this and like be able to come straight to the band's website, go into their store. But then here's where I started to be like, So they are listed on Coinbase, which, we're going to run into some centralization problems in here. And it seems like this is the only place where these are currently being traded, but it does look like it's been a successful rollout between Coinbase and Ticketmaster and this band. Like, it worked. And these have a pretty high resale floor price right now at 0.145 ETH, and they are actively being traded on.
What was mint price? Do you know?
Did they? I'm not sure. Ooh, does it say on their homepage?
I feel like that's the one thing I haven't seen is what mint price was.
Let's see if we can find it. Sold out.
Good for Coinbase. This is a strategic partnership for them for sure. Getting Ticketmaster.
It's working for sure, which is cool to see because this is the first time I've seen where maybe mainstream, it's maybe gonna click like, oh, I can join this fan club with an NFT, and now I can access special things with my token gated membership pass.
I think it's easy. It's an easier jump for them to process because it is from a physical ticket to like a digital ticket. Like that concept is very easy for people to clearly understand.
I don't see any
price.
Mint price. Who knows? I don't know how much it was originally, but I guess we could look at the chart in here.
Yeah, I just get a sense.
See how it's been going. I mean, it looks like pretty consistent. Like it started off at 0.17 and today it's at 0.17. So, I mean, this is over the course of quite some time. This is January 2022 to now. So, I mean, all right. There you have it. So, I do hope one of these other Web3 platforms steps up to the plate and blows this away. But as of now, it looks like we've got at least some headway in token gated ticketing happening mainstream.
And we always say this, just about product. it's not about who's first, usually.
Oh, no, never.
You know?
It's who's best.
Exactly.
Exactly. So that's Ticketmaster. Let's move on. What you got?
Speaking of best, it's not the best, but we've got some Yuga Lab updates. And they have been busy. I switched my links around here, I think so. We're going to talk about the HV-MTL. I don't know if that stands for anything, but this is where we're going to start. So this is a follow-up from the summoning. If we take a look at the roadmap here for Yuga and what they've been doing, we had the trial of Jimmy, we had Dookie Dash, our scores reviewed, the game was over, and then we had the summoning. And from the summoning, we ended up getting access to these boxes. And these are the power sources. So that's where we are today. This HV-MTL is the next step here. So they are the machines that these power sources are going to turn into. So there are 8 different types that we will soon have access to. So it's the next part of the roadmap. And we're just getting introduced to the story. So they landed in the swamp, 30,000 curious machines from another world. To get your HV, this just takes you out to OpenSea to buy one of those boxes that are already listed. And again, to get that box, you took your pass, your sewer pass from Dookie Dash, and you burned it. And that's how you got that box.
Oh, okay.
And so that's what we're seeing here is the different 8 different box types. And so undisturbed for centuries, they were summoned through a rift of space-time, the cosmic battle on the horizon, which is what we're preparing for in the other side. And now they're going to evolve into their final form, which are these HV-MTLs that we're seeing here. So this depends on us. Go ahead.
How many sewer passes are there?
Sewer passes, there was just the one. And it was the one that followed you. Well, in total of sewer passes?
Yeah.
I actually don't know the answer to that.
Just wondering how many of these things are going to be generated.
30,000 would be my guess if there's that many power sources.
Yeah.
And I'm sure not everybody burned their pass either. So
yeah, right. It's like strategy to resell or.
Yeah. So it's going to be unique. They will definitely have different trait combinations, skills, personality, and roles. And these are all supposed to help you as you continue through the quest of gameplay. So this was just announced a few days ago. So we've got Glitch with a total of supply of 22,251. We've got 15,000 for Dynamic here. We've got the Bio at 9,000, Knight at 4,000. I think the Knight is cute. I like that one a lot.
I like that one too.
Celestial, just over 1,000. Reaver, 250. And then the Hollow at 2. And then this Legendary, I don't know for a fact. My guess is this Legendary goes to the golden ticket. So the person who won, the Dookie Dash overall. But I don't know. So we learned about these little characters. And now we're just waiting to forge them next. I don't feel like I saw this earlier. So the box, here's the character jumping out, a little bit of a teaser. So yeah, there's that little bit of news. And then we also just learned about the Legends of Mara. And so Yuga had announced the Legends of Mara. It is a collection-based 2D strategy game that picks up where the second trip left off. So we're going to learn more about codas, which everyone's like, WTF, what is a coda? And they're these cute little characters, but they're the primary keepers of the other side. They're very adept when it comes to farming, enchanting, and hunting. The vessels can grow apprentices known as Mara. And so these vessels are the codas, the keepers of these vessels. I don't really know where these vessels can grow. Capable of fighting. Great. Journey begins by claiming your free vessel. That's right. Okay. So if we actually go to the site here, Legends of Mara, the site is already up. The vessel claim is coming soon. It's not active yet, but you'll get to claim your vessel. And this site, once it loads again, just talks a little bit more about the lore. So there are seasons. Shades find their vessels, and a crop of new Mara erupts into other side. So we see some vessels coming in. And so now we see some of the gameplay here. So there is a shades find vessels. During the shower, the glowing obelisk wakes the shades. These spirits glide across the landscape, each one claiming a vessel for shelter. Some more hospitable than others, which is pretty common in gameplay. And we see the different types of, I guess, the traits. So we've got an enchanter and farmer and hunter. And so those are the vessels that would land on your deed. Got little coda ghosts. And then here are the Maras. Yeah. So enchanter, farmer, and hunter again. And then here we talk a little bit about the seasons that we have. So 4 seasons, creation, evolution, afterlife, and abyss. I really like these visuals. Like, I like how it really looks almost like dramatic and stunning and serious. But when you look at the characters, you're like, oh yeah, this is totally Yuga. Like, this is, Yuga work in there. Okay. And then when a Mara ingests a seasonal catalyst, it evolves into a Coda Mara that takes on traits possessed by that catalyst. So we've got Coda Maras, we've got catalysts, we've got vessels, we've got seasons. There's a lot to unpack here. And then we have the sediment fragments, which can be fed to Mara. So these are derived from the other deed's sediment. And so we've seen these in the other deeds. We've got the biogenic swamp, the chemical god, so on and so forth. So the other deeds that exist today have one of these traits. They all fall into one of these types of sediment. And then the creation season is when the Coda Rama reveal will happen. So there definitely is some steps that need to happen first. But right now we've done the summoning. We right now are at the mech types revealed. And next will be sometime in April that it came through the Rift. So these 2 updates came from Yuga this week, both HV-MTL and Legends of Mara. And I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more lore and getting teasers and things like that leading up to the next event.
Right on.
Pretty cute. That's that.
That's that. This is a very long episode. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, okay, let's move it along. So I wanted to bring up NFTs, NFT Now and their Now Pass. So NFT Now, if you're not familiar with, is a Web3 NFT news publication, all online. The founder was the editor-in-chief of Spin. Of all media sources for NFTs and Web3, this is by far my favorite. I'm a big fan of what they do. I think that they do great news. They're very connected to the space. They understand it really well. Their website is really great, but I really love following them on Instagram and Twitter. So if you are not, check them out. But they dropped a Now Pass, which is their NFT that is for fans of NFT Now, the publication. And I think it's really interesting that they dropped this in the height of a bear market with all of their knowledge of the space. There were 2,750 passes dropped for a very high mint price of 0.25 ETH. And these just dropped between March 23rd and March 24th. So they are new. And I was lucky enough to get on the allow list for this, and I did mint one. I also did think it was going to sell out, even though the mint price was high, and it did. So what does this get you? So first of all, you get to be connected with the people in this community, which is really one of the main reasons that I bought into it, because I knew their reputation and I know who they know. And a lot of big names bought these passes that are artists in the space, builders in the space. So they were like really are truly trying to build out that network. And I think of anybody who could do it, they are pretty high up there on the list. So just for that perk alone, I was interested. But they also are going to do a event at NFT NYC this year. I'm sure there will be more events after that. They also do like a NFT 100 gala where they it's like a sit down dinner. Cool. Yeah, and they did it last year, and they're going to give some tickets to that to some of the pass holders. They'll be like selected through a raffle but it's an event where like huge names like Beeple and everyone in the space is going to be at. So if you're like deep into this stuff, this would be like a good thing to get into.
Yeah.
And then they're also going to give you first access to their news and exclusive news for people who own the pass. So I don't know what that platform is going to look like yet, but we do host here a show about things. So it was a valuable NFT to me just to be able to hear what they have to say firsthand and be able to articulate that in video format over here. So I am definitely all in on this one. Now, how did it do on secondary? Not so well. So it's at 0.21. I'm make and bake on it. I'm not planning to sell it, so it really doesn't matter to me. But if you do want to scoop one up, it is lower than their mint price right now. That mint price was 0.25. It's down to 0.21. I still think, if you're a lover of the Web3 NFT space, this is worth it just for the community because the people in it.
And I think with
the people
with something like this, I think it's important to consider the utility or the types of events that it's going to give you access to. Like, I would not be shocked to see this wildly across the board in terms of price. Just hope that the baseline continues to creep up, as like.
Yeah. Speaking of events, I forgot to mention that they are the ones that put on the Gateway at Art Basel, which was my favorite NFT event of the year. They did a phenomenal job hosting it. And they did say part of this pass also gets you special access to some of the things at the Gateway moving forward as they continue to do it. It does seem like the leading festival presence to me right now of like the art, mixed media, NFT Web3 space festival. So that's cool. And they also, all projects say they're going to give you waitlists to special things coming out with artists. I would err on the side of believing what they are offering more than others. I'm really shilling them right now. I have no connection. I'm not making any money off of this, but just because they actually do have connections to these artists, like they have worked with them in the past and had them at their events and stuff. So, if anybody's actually going to get you like a good waitlist spot, NFT Now would be pretty high up there for me. So that's that. I just want to bring that one up because it's been kind of boring the past week with the market. Everything seems to be going down and there hasn't really been anything too exciting to talk about. I think that we've finally hit a wall with NFTs in the sense of like, a project saying, we're going to give you the 10,000 PFP collection of JPEGs. You're going to get to stake them, get a token and a black hoodie. I think that's gone stale. So that ran its course, and we are in a place where we definitely need some innovation to happen in these NFT projects, because nothing's too exciting right now, except that was the most exciting thing. And then we had a request to talk about a product coming from somebody at Atari. Asked me to talk about this. This is.
I didn't realize that came in from them. That's cool.
Yes, I posted on our Twitter if anybody wanted us to talk about anything in particular to let me know. And this was requested. So actually, I'm going to bring it up in a way where I can share the sound so we can properly watch this. Here we go. Okay, so this is the trailer for a new game coming out. I'm not sure if Atari made it, but the game is called Pixel Ripped 1978, and it features Atari. There's Atari games inside of it, so they, obviously at the licensing or whatever to like make this stuff happen. But what's really cool about this is that when they asked if we could talk about it, I actually have played Pixel Ripped 1995, and it is a great game. I play it on the Meta Quest 2, and it is it's you guys, it's so cool. Like you go into it and you feel like you're in 1995 and you are inside of a little boy's body. I wish it was the option that I could have been like a little girl, because the stuff that's going on in the game is stuff that I actually did in my childhood, and it feels like you are back in 1995 and you're playing video games. And like I was a huge gamer girl at that age in 1995. So it was so nostalgic for me playing. I absolutely love this game. And you like the game starts off, you are a kid in a living room playing what feels like some Nintendo games from that era. And then you get sucked inside of the game. And then all of a sudden you're like in the game world.
Game Inception.
Yeah, but it feels like very 90s gaming, like everything. If you love that era of gaming, it will just make your heart sing like mine. Like I'm really lighting up talking about it. Anyway, I was so thrilled to see this today that Atari is being featured in Pixel Rip's new game coming out. This will be available on the Meta Quest 2, or I guess any Meta headset, Stream, and PSVR 2. And let's just watch the trailer because it looks so fun.
Good morning. Live video games. They seem to have captured America's imagination.
My name is Barbara, but you can call me Bug. I just started a new job at this place called Atari. They've been working on this cool new thing called video games. Feels like it's really gonna catch on.
Electronic games being this year's bestseller.
No other video game company stacks up to Atari.
I'm building a brand new game. Oh, and this is Dot. I created her. Isn't she rad? It's a little rough around the edges. Glitches, broken code, stuff like that. It's not all fun and games being a programmer. So I invented this nifty device that allows me to go into the game. You know, patch things up from the inside. Good thing I've got Dot, because sometimes the bugs can be a real problem. Looks like I've got my work cut out for me. Good thing it's 1978 and this technology is on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's a thrill for me. I think that looks really awesome. I have no doubts it's going to be a hit. I'm pretty certain that the Pixel Ripped 1995 is a hit, or I'm just really obsessed with it. No, it's a hit. Like,
it's a hit in your heart.
Yeah. Well, it came, when you're like in the Meta Quest, there's like the recommended games, and it's like a really high rated one and was recommended to me. And I was like, ooh, I can go into 1995. Let's do it. And then when I was in there, I was like, you've nailed it. It feels like I'm in the 90s and I'm a kid again. I was like, I don't want to come out of this headset. So I think the game is phenomenal. And this new 1978 version with Atari looks freaking rad. I cannot wait to play it. We'll definitely get in there and try it out myself. So thank you for whoever it was that recommended that for the show. That was a good one. And we love Atari, and we love the Atari X NFT. So check that out too. So last but certainly not least, let's chat about TikTok. And if I know there are some people watching, if you have anything to say or commentary, do chat with us. You can only chat with us on YouTube and Twitch. We are at Probably DGens on both platforms. On Twitter, you will not be able to chat with us yet. It doesn't work. It just doesn't come through for us. So,
Though I am watching Twitter if you do drop a comment in right now. I'll
oh,
catch
you
it.
are? Okay.
Mhm.
Well, so go ahead.
I just started though.
Okay, so TikTok, big story of the week, the year, for as this has been going on for years now, where everybody's been talking about if TikTok is going to get banned in the United States. So the reason for this whole thing is that TikTok is a company that is associated with ByteDance, and ByteDance is headquartered in China, and China is shady. Okay, but let's talk about the United States is shady too, right? Because the TikTok CEO has been going in front of Congress and debating, Congress is grilling him on like data privacy rights, on if the Chinese have the ability to spy on
care.
American citizens. Yeah, exactly. So he did say, it is funny, you should look it up if you want to see it, the TikTok CEO, who is Chinese, being like, I mean, how is this any better than the United States spying on people through Google, which is exactly what this Al Jazeera article is. So I like to look at news from international publications just to see what people are really saying, because, American media is going to put the United States in a great
You're
light.
saying, so don't believe everything the media says.
Oh yeah, do your own research. So, but the thing that's a real bummer about China is that they censor the crap out of the internet, and this has been a controversy for over a decade now that they do this. That they, it's a breeding ground for brainwashing your citizens, for your population. We all know China has a large number of human rights violations. The Chinese Communist Party does shady things. So, it is a concern, and I understand why it is being brought up in front of Congress, and why they are proposing this ban. But I think that we should chat about, what is
Actually.
what is actually going on. What is the real root of the issue here? Because when I hear Congress say that they are worried about China harvesting data from citizens, I'm like, are you really though? Because here's the thing, you guys. There are independent companies that already harvest and sell data, like Cambridge Analytica, which we should all know by now because of the whole Facebook scandal. So if China really wanted to buy your data, they could do it. They could find somebody that has it. So there is actually a bigger issue going on here. And the bigger issue is the ability for ByteDance to run psychological manipulation on the American public. That is really what the issue is. At least that's what I think is the big threat, is the potential for the Chinese government to put propaganda in front of young minds. I know there's old minds, crusty old minds like mine on TikTok too, but to make an impression and an agenda on the population of the United States. I have heard rumors that inside of China, because the Chinese government has so many freedom law violations, as in not freedom, that they have done all sorts of restrictions on what can actually be presented to the population of China inside of TikTok, and that people there are seeing like educational videos. Again, I don't know if that is true or not, because I don't know what the heck is going on in China. So take that with a grain of salt. But, a big part of this discussion is like, okay, they are creating like a super generation on their side. And then they're like, they're getting like a, who knows, educational artwork, and
They're getting smarter. We're getting dumber.
And they're feeding us twerk videos. And the seduction of TikTok is that they have figured out that the human condition, that everybody wants to be seen and popular and famous. And they use that as a sort of crack cocaine in their product to suck people in who are just dying for that validation. So part of their secret sauce is that everybody feels like they're famous on Twitter. Your videos go far. We would know because we refuse to do TikTok, even though we know more people would find us.
Yep.
But we're here doing the old way method of YouTube, Twitter, and
Twitch.
please Twitch, please watch us. But like, it's hard to gain an audience unless you have that magic algorithm in TikTok pushing your content, which they have figured out. So there's that problem. Anyway, let's chat for a minute about what was called the Restrict Act, which is what is really happening here behind the scenes. So we know that TikTok is an issue. I mean, data privacy, sure, but also it is more like, this psychological manipulation tool for the public in Chinese hands. Of course, we do the same thing. Let's not say that we don't spread the United States capitalist agenda around the world with our media, because we most certainly do. So, you got to decide for yourself if you think that is a big enough threat to do something really drastic like what they are proposing. And the thing they are proposing is a little bit shady. And when I mean the US government, what they are proposing. So they are proposing this Restrict app. It is a piece of legislation that could ban apps or services that pose a threat to national security and have connections to certain foreign countries. So that is very vague. So, at any moment they could be like, we don't like Japan, so no more of that app from Japan. Goodbye. So I see the issue. They're kind of trying to put the CEO of TikTok into a position where he has to make a decision. So the options right now are, TikTok is going to get banned, or TikTok is going to dissociate from ByteDance, and they're going to put a separate headquarters here in the United States as a US company, put their database on Oracle, and we will have control over being able to know what's going on in there.
And now let's specify when you say we will have control over.
The government. The government will. So that's where we're getting down to the root of the issue here. So before we get on that tangent, let's just make sure that we all keep an eye on this Restrict Act. This is something that is actively rolling out, and everybody in the United States should be watching this and paying attention to it, because it has the ramifications of something like the Patriot Act, where this could essentially infringe on our Fourth Amendment right, First Amendment right. We could become China while trying to not be China. We will start banning internet access to apps and all sorts of crap, and it become the thing that we hate. So we got to be really careful not to go down that route. I had another thought about that. Anyway, this bill is full of really vague terms of what could be banned, like desktop applications, mobile applications, gaming applications, payment applications, web-based applications. There is a piece in there about VPNs possibly being something that could, so VPN is a virtual private network, which would allow, currently you can load a VPN and access the internet from a different country. That's basically what it does. So it would ban you from doing that, and if you got caught, you go to jail, which is pretty severe, very severe. You gonna say something?
Sounds like some censorship.
it sounds exactly like censorship because that's what it is. So, if you believe in freedom of speech and you don't want to see the United States turn into a fascist, I mean, I don't know what other word to use. Like this is what it is. Like, they're going to start telling you what you can and cannot access. We got to keep an eye on this. I feel like it's everybody's civic duty to watch what is going on and be active in this case, because look past the fact that it is TikTok and that this is actually a bill that they want to pass, and it does not it does not solve the problem that we have with the internet right now. What we really need to talk about is how these user-generated content platforms should not be owned by any government power. And that is where the Web3 idea of decentralization comes in, because the internet should be fair and accessible and by the people for the people everywhere globally. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
And Degen's Queen would have more information on it because she has a background in product for decentralization. But any thoughts?
Yeah, this is
on the spot.
This is not a good look for the US, I don't think at all. And it's definitely headed in the wrong direction. The fact that, they're trying to police even through a VPN, like that is the point of a VPN. It is a private network. You should not be penalized, necessarily for using it. Yeah, it's really scary. I am thankful that TikTok is in it because I think that's why it has so much buzz. Content creators who don't care about decentralization whatsoever are seeing how this could potentially impact them. Certainly, they're not seeing the major effect that it has, like freedom of speech and the censorship aspect of it. But hopefully, people are starting to understand that a bit more. But this is definitely concerning, and this is why we're out here doing what we do and building and trying to make sure that people own their data. They can say what they want. They can act how they want on the internet. Just be a good human and call your representative, reach out to them. Do not let this pass.
Yeah, don't let it pass. Make a stand. I don't know. TikTok, I personally just don't use it because I see the threat its threat of influence on the United States. Who knows? We're going to see how this pans out. But the answer, I hope that what happens in the public is that people see that the government could just deplatform them as content creators, and they make a conscious move into the Web3 space because they want to own their content and they no longer want a third party owned by any centralized organization with a government backing tampering with their crap, because that's, I believe we can cohabit on this planet with different cultures and ideas, and maybe that's an idealistic outlook, but I think communication and communication is important, and discourse is important, and silencing anybody is not a world that I want to live in. And you actually added this tweet.
Yes. This is a great, great tweet. It does a really good job of breaking down what's actually happening. And then if you scroll down, there is information on who to contact and like a nice word track to reach out to your representatives to, voice your opinion about this. So we'll share this link in the description on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that you can take some action. But this is a really good breakdown for sure.
Yeah. So do check this out. Keep on top of it. Pay attention. I hope that I am articulating to our audience why it's an issue. And it's definitely a weird time for the internet. Everything is chaos.
I feel like we shouldn't have ended on this one.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to do anything from here. So if anybody is watching and has any thoughts, do let us know. We'll think of something more positive to talk about. Yeah, I mean, like you're watching us and I wrote on Twitter, like, join us and bring an adult beverage. So if you're like slowly getting drunk watching us and then we ended on that note, I am so sorry. I think we got to do a better job of like doing the serious stuff at the beginning. And then like slowly,
or maybe in the middle. Like we gotta, I don't know, we'll figure it out. We're building.
We're building. We are building. I don't know. Wild times. I guess, yeah. I saw somebody on my Twitter say that they were taking all like 3,000 of the I need a stiffer shrink after that. Thanks, Bibbles. Yeah. So that was a really dark topic. Yeah, but I did see somebody say that they had to take all like 3,000 of their TikTok videos, download them last night because they don't know what's going to happen with TikTok. My prediction is that China is going to release the reins and let a second headquarters happen here in the United States. I'm fairly certain that is what's going to happen. I do think that if this restrict bill moves forward in any way, people are going to riot. So I don't think it's going to happen. But just because I said this, I mean you shouldn't pay attention. All love, great show. We'll delete TikTok off my phone now. Okay, yeah. I do not have it on my phone. I deleted it a while ago.
Never had it.
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't let a foreign-backed algorithm mess with your mind. I'm already PO'd at Facebook for doing it to me and Instagram. And that, those things have been exposed. Actually, Elon Musk also exposed that the Twitter algorithm before his time period was also doing manipulation on the public. So I think the general public's becoming more wise to the dangers, the psychological dangers of algorithms run by centralized powers. And I'm happy to see this shift. I'm happy to hear the discussion. I don't want it to end up in a dark place. And with that, I hope you have some good weed if you're living in California, Illinois, or New York where it's legal. And
I am.
yeah, I think there's some other states too, like I think Michigan. I don't know anymore what is going on, but that's on a light note. Try and relax after that. Don't worry, it's not
always do your own research. Always do your own research. Take everything with a grain of salt and don't overconsume on social media.
Don't overconsume. If it feels bad, if you get on a social media and you feel bad on it, yes, correct. Get off of it. It's that simple, you guys. So with that, thank you for joining us and tune in next week. We are going to continue to do these until we think of some better plan. But we'll just talk about what is the latest news happening in Web3 NFTs and future tech. Like and subscribe, and peace. Bye.